Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai, The Supreme Master by Ekiral Bharadwaj Garu. Introduction. The time has gone by when man, in the first flush of modern scientific advance, has judged religion to be a relic of superstition of primitive men. The very advance of science has brought back the sense of awe and wonder at the immensity of creation. In its mature moments, science has realized that every step forward in its knowledge of the creation also makes it aware more and more keenly how incomplete, imperfect, and tentative its knowledge has been and is bound to be. Scientists have estimated that life originated on Earth some 1200 million years ago. The origin of humanity is dated to a few millions of years. Prehistoric culture is dated back to about 5 to 7,000 years. Western culture dates to about 2500 years. But modern scientific thought is said to have arisen about the time of Francis Bacon, that is hardly 4 centuries ago. To put it in proper perspective, if the age of life on earth is scaled as corresponding to 100 years, the age of mankind would come to about an hour and 3 quarters, and the age of modern science comes to about 2 seconds. How reasonable is it to suppose that we have or we can categorize about the nature of existence and of man? How preposterous and childish would such claims be if we visualize how far our knowledge is likely to advance in the coming centuries and millennia if mankind survives so long at its present rate. A glimpse of what modern science has so far revealed to us is enough to suggest what is in store for us. We now know that if our sun were to be visualized as a ball with a diameter of 6 inches, the outermost planet of its system would be 740 yards from it, and our nearest star 2000 miles from it. This solar system is traveling at 50 crore miles an hour. There are approximately 10 crore stars in our galaxy, and our telescopes have revealed the existence of 100,000 such galaxies. No one knows what lies beyond that. On the minute scale, our knowledge has extended to subatomic dimensions. A molecule is said to be 1 by 2 crores 50 lakhs of an inch cross, and the radius of an atom is point and the radius of an atom is 2 into 10 power minus 9 centimeters, and that of an electron when viewed as a particle is said to be 2 into 10 power minus 15 centimeters. What is more, Sir James Jeans reports in the universe around us that the approximate density of matter either in cosmos or outside or within an atom can be represented by a few grains of dust in a big railway station, say of Waterloo. What can we hope to know about this immense existence? We can know nothing of the universe beyond the effects that its happenings are produced on our senses, either directly or through the intervention of instruments, telescopes, spectroscopes, etc. All that science of any period can legitimately set out to do then is to devise a scheme or model that shall account for much of the effects as we are known to the period in question, says Sir James Jeans. If such is the state of our knowledge regarding the universe outside us, what of man's knowledge of himself and his potential? Man's potential for knowing about the existence outside him is limited by the senses and the mind. The various sense organs register the various stimuli as vibrations and convey them to the brain, and our mind assembles its image of the external universe from these messages. The sense that registers a particular message does not know and never can know the object, the reality at the other end of the wire by which those messages are sent. There will be finer vibrations which it fails to take it up. Hence, a portion of the message is always lost, or in other language, there are aspects of the world which we can never know. Thus, this sense world, this seemingly real external universe, cannot be the external world, but only the self's projected picture of it. Very slight investigation shows that it is a picture whose relation to reality is at best symbolic and approximate. Thus, the red brick, says science, is a mere convention. In reality, that bit, like all other bits of the universe, consists so far as I can know at present of innumerable atoms whirling and dancing one about the other. It is no more solid than a snowstorm. Moreover, these atoms themselves elude me as I try to grasp them. There are only manifestations of something else. As for redness, there is that is a question of the relation between your optic nerve and the light waves which the brick is unable to absorb. This evening, when the sun slopes, your brick wall probably be purple, even the sense that the object of perception is outside yourself may be fancy, since you as easily attribute this external quality to images seen in dreams and to walking hallucinations. It is not even true according to modern science that all of us perceive things precisely in the same manner. So much of our potential for knowledge empirical. What of our knowledge of ourselves? Psychologists tell us that our psyche, our inner being, has conscious, subconscious, and unconscious levels, that our psyche can be perceived by us, while a large part of it lies hidden, submerged in seas in which it floats. The hidden part of the iceberg corresponds to the part of our psyche which is hidden from us. C.G. Jung, the famous modern psychologist, invests the subconscious with several mysterious processes. The myriad explanation of man offered by various schools of modern psychology only reveal how little we know of ourselves, and when we have a twilight knowledge of its unknown aspects just dawning on our horizon, the findings are startling and mysterious. Sheila Ostrander and Lynn Schroeder, in their monumental work Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain, say in the Baltic, Soviet geologists walked with the dowsing rods. In the Urals, they experimented with eyeless sight. By the Black Sea, they studied the hands of psychic healer. Parapsychology, non existent just a decade before, was suddenly flourishing all over USSR. The writers quote Dr. Vasiliev, a member of Soviet Academy of Medicine, chairman of physiology at the University of Leningrad, holder of the Lenin Prize, as having said, the discovery of energy underlying ESP, that is extrasensory perception, will be equivalent to the discovery of atomic energy. This book documents in detail the specific validation of such paranormal powers as telepathy, telekinesis, the power of mind to move material objects, healing by touch, water, dowsing, and a host of other phenomena. The references at the end of the book run up to 425 publications, most of them being scientific articles in standard Russian science journals. Most of these show a progressive shift towards the perennial treasure of wisdom in the religious and mystical lore of ancient ages. The ancient wonder of man at the immense existence burns today with the same luminescence as it did earlier and welcomes us to share it and to try to penetrate the mystery of creation, which is also the mystery of our being. All the advances made by science have hitherto proceeded along a certain line, outwards from our conscious mind through the sciences. But the mystics the world over had ever recognized that reality is untimely veiled by the very make and mode of functioning of our senses and of the conscious mind, which can respond only to the sense perceptions. Man is an inseparable part of all existence, and whatever distinction he makes is a projection of the senses and that part of our psyche which is conditioned by their perception. Hence, whatever reality underlies the rest of existence underlies his being too. When he knows the reality underlying his individual existence, he knows the reality of all existence. But this knowledge is essentially different from the kind of knowledge gained in other ways. In the latter kind, it is the knowledge of some individual regarding some particular things only, and this knowledge does not in any way affect this state of being or consciousness. The mystic's knowledge is a direct experience of one substratum of all existence, including his own. The mystic transcends the false sense of individual distinction from the rest of existence that is projected by the senses and the conscious mind. Thus, the mystic wisdom leads to ineffable peace, peace that passeth understanding, and bliss that cannot be attained by the normal empirical knowledge. What is more, the presence of such a mystic can instill calm and solace in the fellow men. Besides, several miraculous experiences that the mystic's presence can watch, save to the fellow men, correspond to supranormal powers that are experimentally confirmed by the Russian parapsychologists. This is a validation that the wisdom of the mystic is not a mere subjective hallucination. It cannot be denied that there are umpteen deranged individuals who mistake subjective hallucinations for mystic wisdom. But it is unscientific to say the least to confuse the one with the other. It is not rational either to pass armchair criticism on the implications of the mystic wisdom which one is not called upon to investigate by his innate urge. Here, the rational denial cannot shake one who had a glimpse of what great mystic wisdom can promise, just as any amount of preaching does not move a confirmed skeptic. Jai Sai Master.